What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. In the previous video I mentioned to you guys that the CRV that we turboed a couple of weeks ago is going to return, and it's here on the driveway. So I want to give you guys a quick little backstory of why this car is back here. Me and Eric has been kind of like working on the car a little bit here just to kind of get some results to figure out what the next step is. So when this car was finished, obviously I drove it around the block. Everything seems and sounds good. The fan circulated. We made sure the fan turned on before Eric was going to drive this thing home. So when he left that night, you drove 35 miles home. The car drove on the freeway, had no problems whatsoever. But when he got to the pad, he noticed that the coolant reservoir was bubbling like crazy. So in the last couple of weeks, Eric, you know, he only has a little bit of time to work on the car. He did a compression test. It was 175. He sent me some pictures. It was like 175 across the board, which is a good indication of compression, right? But I asked him to do a leak down test to see if maybe if the China head gasket, China head bolt might have like backed up, lifted or something, but he hasn't had time to do so. So he towed the car back to the house and we're doing that. So we've already done a leak down test on cylinder number 1, 3, 4, and we're about to do 2 right now. In case you guys didn't know, the firing order is 1, 3, 4, 2. So 1, 3, 4, it's under 20%, kind of about 15-ish, and we're about to do cylinder number 2 right now to show you guys that the cylinders are actually holding pressure. So hook this up for me real quick. It's already set to 100 on the gauge, and you don't want to be more than 20%. Anything under 20 is okay. Anything above 20 is a problem, just like my K20A2 where it was reading 80% leakage. So no mama, no muscle, boo.
Hey, I need to work out. What you talking about?
Okay, so right here hooked up, we're still sitting just right under 10, right? So you can see it's hooked up, no leakage out of the oil cap, nothing up front, nothing out of the throttle valve, nothing out of the coolant, the radiator setup. So all the cylinders checked out for the leak down test, and obviously has good compression all the way across. So we don't think it's a head gasket problem. And when I did torque the head bolts down, I did go like 5 over factory, and I'm really starting to think maybe the water pump, because that was also a cheap Chinese water pump, and I was a little skeptical too when I first did put it in, but we've already did the job and that's all that I had, so I threw it in there. And the scenario here is after it bled out of the reservoir boiling all crazy, right? He changed out the thermostat because it kind of gave off like a stuck thermostat situation. So he put a brand new thermostat in there. You can see it right there in the seat. He swapped out a new thermostat, and you only had the car idling for what, couple of minutes before it started busting out of the radiator and the reservoir. So if you guys look, coolant pretty much everywhere. And I was like, okay, well, either the water pump is not circulating or something is clogged. Another thing is when it started bubbling out of the cooling system, the lower radiator hose wasn't even hot at all. Yeah, it was just warm to the touch. The top hose was freaking burning, and the scenario was just kind of weird. New thermostat, the car didn't overheat before. I doubt the radiator has any issue, and the radiator looked like it was replaced before as well too. And I didn't really touch anything cooling system wise other than just the top hoses for when we did the head gasket. So today we're just diagging this car. We're trying to figure out what's going on, but I think we might change out the water pump, because that I'd rather run an auto parts store water pump than a no brand eBay probably $20 water pump. So we're probably gonna do that in just a moment, but we're gonna diag this thing a little bit more. Look at your name on my phone. Man before time. Your name has been on my phone for ever since I got your phone number. It's listed as Land Before Time because you that long neck from that show. That long neck, that little little foot.
Hey, some people like that though, man.
Hey, I'm not making fun of you, dog.
Hey, that's long neck, long dick.
Shut your from now. No, you Cambodian foot, that's a lie. Okay, guys, so we took off the water pump right here. This is that Chinese freaking kit that he bought off of eBay for like 150 bucks for the whole 9. So obviously we did the compression test and we did the leak down test. The head gasket seems to be holding, and also the head bolts obviously don't seem like they're backed out. So that kit came together with all the seals and this water pump. So this water pump doesn't seem bad. Like, it feels nice and tight, right? And the propeller is not disconnected, so obviously if you move the gear, the propeller moves with it. So we know it pushes coolant. The only thing that I noticed differently between this one and the NPW one right here is obviously this one has bigger fins on it, right? Bigger than this one at least. And this one is definitely larger than the Gates one that we've ever used. This is NPW, this is China. So the only thing that I can see like differently is if you guys look at this little rise right here in the center, this one's like mid, and then if you look at this one, it's like twice the size of this one. So this thing right here sits in the cove of the block, right, that connects to the water pipe, and coolant is supposed to go through here and then gets pushed over with the timing gear to push coolant to the sleeve, the cylinder. And I'm just thinking, because right now we realistically don't know what's causing the cooling issue in this car, is that not enough coolant is being pushed here, right, going through, because this one is less and this one has more space for coolant to go through to be pushed. So I'm feeling like the capacity is not being pushed the same amount as what this one would be doing. So we've already gotten this far. We may as well just throw in the NPW pump right here. And this one didn't really have any issue with it before, so we're gonna toss this pump in and pretty much redo the whole entire process, bleed the cooling system, and see if the car does that coolant splatter again, the overheating part. And if it does, the only other thing that we changed aside from the whole cylinder head is the thermostat. So when all of this was happening, like I said, the lower radiator hose was still like warm, not hot, warm. So we're thinking the thermostat is not opening. For a turbo car anyways, we either punch holes or we punch the center out. So we're gonna reverse the entire process, guys. We're gonna put the water pump, time belt, time the engine back together and see where that takes us. So Eric got the water pump installed right there, and while he was doing that, I was taking off the thermostat. And again, it is a brand new thermostat. Nothing seems to be wrong with it whatsoever. I think we're gonna punch this out like we did in my JDM EF2 when I was in SoCal. But before we put it all back together though, I do want to test out to make sure that the radiator is not clogged up. So we have my water hose connected in here, and I didn't touch the radiator hoses or anything at all when I did the cylinder head swap, and the car didn't overheat when it came here the first time. So I just want to make sure that the radiator itself is not clogged. I'm gonna have Eric crank the water hose, and I'm gonna watch it come out on the bottom hose right here, just to make sure that we have flow. Where you at? There you are. Ooh, it's coming from the top. Wait, stop. Wait, I'm a little confused. Oh, I'm tripping. Okay. Huh? No, so when you did it, it was coming out of here, but it's not coming out from the bottom. Look. So go crank it again real quick. Is the radiator clogged? Look, it's pissing up there, but nothing is coming out of here. Nothing. Hey, Eric. Yeah. Ain't nothing coming out of the bottom radiator, bruh.
What? So there's a radiator?
What's... Bro. Nothing is coming out of your radiator, bruh, Eric. Look, nothing. It's literally pissing out. The more you crank the hose, the more the top pisses out, and nothing's coming out the bottom. How? Why? Yeah, it was pissing out right here more than anything. There's no kinks.
Yeah.
No mother's way. Man, we did all that work, and it's probably just a radiator. Just hold that top one.
Yeah. coming out.
So I pulled out the thermostat from my built sleeve block, and this is the thermostat that I'm running in it. It is a part store thermostat with 6 holes on here. And again, if you guys remember my JDM EF2, I cut the entire center out of it because the car was overheating in LA. Couldn't figure out what was going on with it, so I popped the thermostat out of there and modified it to see if that might have been one of my issues. Turned out it was just my radiator that was the problem. So I swapped in an EG1. The car had no cooling issues driving 6 hours home. Now granted, this car is a turbo car, and most of my turbo cars don't even have a thermostat aside from this one, because I'm just finding it out now that we do still have the thermostat attached. It's just it has 6 holes to kind of help hot coolant flow, and this is the new one. So because we have a new one and I already have a new one from my built block, I think we're just gonna cut this thing instead of sitting here contemplating. You know now firsthand, like literally the behind the scenes of everything that goes on in a day when it comes to me working on cars, the back end of things. Like there's a lot of reasons why I prolong a lot of things. There's a lot of reasons why things take longer than they should. I either sit here and talk, or we conversate, or we sit here and we contemplate on what to do. That's just day in the life of me, man. But yeah, I think we're set in stone. We're just gonna cut my old one right here, throw this back in, and I'm gonna have him do all the radiator stuff while I do all the timing, because like I said, I'll pick back up with you guys when everything's all put back together. Everything is all put back together. We got to turn the car on, bleed the cooling system, and also time the distributor since we redid the timing over there. Let's see what it do. Ready to rock and roll. Ready when you are. Oh, like butter. Like butter. All right, so we're gonna let this thing warm up and we're gonna see how it reacts, because he said the bottom hose never gets hot even after an hour, and it starts boiling out of the coolant reservoir when you drive it. So let this thing warm up. Damn, that's like almost on the money. So yeah, so the center arrow's here, and then the pulley is like this.
So it's hitting right on the race spot?
Huh?
It's the race spot?
Yeah, because it's not a steady idle. I mean, it's a steady idle, but it's just like it's just moving around. But it's like right on. It's like near center. Okay, so we've been idling the car now for like 30 minutes, give or take. The fan has cycled like 5 or 6 times now, right? And for some reason the heater core is still blowing like barely warm air. And I looked up online. It says that if your heater core is clogged, it's not going to cause an overheating issue. It's just a secondary radiator. So if it's clogged, you just won't have cabin heat, but the coolant should still flow. So I don't know why. It was working before when it left me, and it worked before when it came to me, but right now it's just not getting hot at all. I think another thing that I noticed is that I'm sitting right here and I'm looking at the catch can, and it's smoking just slightly. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's smoking slightly, and I don't remember seeing it before either. So that's also a concerning thing. And mind you, this thing has been sitting here for 30 plus minutes. The fan's on again, and we're still bubbling out of here. Now I'm seeing the scenario here is if I had the radiator cap plugged up, this is probably would be bubbling out of the reservoir, which is the issue he's had before. The radiator hose at the bottom is super duper hot, top is hot, heater hoses are all nice and hot, but this right here is concerning with that. And I don't want to say it, but it might be a crack block. Really don't know how to test it, but worst case scenario, he did just buy a B16, right? Yeah, so he does have a B16, which is what we were contemplating on today about swapping in, because if you guys don't remember, this car still has a stock clutch, and I told him, I was like, if we're gonna put in a 6-puck, because he bought a 6-puck, if we put the 6-puck in, I'd rather drop the engine because the transmission is hard to put on, and if we drop the engine, we do the B16. May as well. The motor's out of the car already. Do the B16 with the new clutch, and you know, go from there. But we wanted to kind of situate the situation before swapping this. And right now, with that smoking, with this thing still bubbling, I don't know. Call around, ask around, do some more research, and worst case scenario, shit, we might have to pull the motor. Eric said he drove it to the gas station like 2 miles from his house, and then it started bubbling. So I'm trying to like mimic 2 miles real quick to see if it'll bubble out of the reservoir. I just love how quiet this thing is, just without the problems. I mean, not crazy, but huh? Oh yeah, like it's kind of full. Yeah, it's like, it's not bubbling, but it's like climbing. Yeah, we got some sort of issue. I mean, it ain't all crazy how you were explaining it to me, how you can see all of the residuals all the way across. But I mean, granted, I wasn't going fast or nothing, so that is concerning, because this was actually all the way down here and now it's right there. I don't know, Chief. I don't know.
Nah, just take out the spark plugs, put your camera in there, and then pressurize the cooling system, and then just let it sit. It takes no more, I would say each cylinder more than 10-15 minutes. If you don't see no coolant going in there in 10 or 15 minutes, you should be fine, because you gotta remember the cap is only rated for 16 psi.
Yeah, it's a 1.1.
If you pressurize it to 16, 18, that's more pressure than the system should hold, and that should cause it to fucking leak into the cylinder or wherever it's leaking to.
I mean, wouldn't you know if you watched like when you pressurize the system and it drops, when you put it to 18 it drops? You would kind of know, right?
Yeah, you could, but you're trying to isolate what cylinder.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out where it's going.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's weird. I was calling my buddy Mike to kind of ask him the situation, because he deals with this, you know, all his life. And as we were talking, the coolant reservoir literally like dropped, so it's back to the max instead of full that I showed you guys in the last clip, and that's kind of weird. So he was telling me that it's like something is creating like vacuum pool. So he was explaining to me about like cracked blocks and stuff like that. When the car turned off, it sucks vacuum in, pulls the coolant back through. So he was explaining to me, I don't know if I left the clip in, but he was explaining to me that he had some tools and stuff to kind of like pressurize the cooling system, and then using like a camera, or a stethoscope or some shit, to look down the cylinder, pressurize the system to like 16-18 psi and see if coolant is escaping somewhere. And because we're being pressurized, causing coolant to run into the reservoir, he said obviously look into the cylinders, because that's where the combustion is creating all of that pressure that could escape through a cracked block, a blown head gasket, or a cracked cylinder head or something like that, to pressurize the cooling system. So tools that I don't have, tools that he offered me, but like I said, this car, you know, it's supposed to leave tonight. It goes back 30 miles north, and like we really just have to align the schedule, because he's off on the weekends. And it takes me a day to swap a B16 into this car. The thing is, he don't have the B16 here, and he don't have a vehicle to pick up the B16. And if we did the swap, the car would be here longer, because I have to work on my brother's CRV I mentioned, and I need to get that ready because he's got to drive it down to SoCal. But yeah, anyways, man, we're kind of just stuck in this predicament right now. Is the motor hurt? We don't know. Does it run fine? Yes. Did the test that we did come out fine? Yes. Coolant's flowing? Yes. But why is it pressurized? I don't know. I don't know everything, and I don't know the situation because I've never dealt with it before. So I guess we gotta figure out, brainstorm, and figure out what we're gonna do with it, to be honest with you guys. Okay guys, so got on the phone with the homie Nomis Industries, told him the whole entire situation. My buddy Mike I called earlier said it possibly have a cracked cylinder head or a cracked sleeve. I called Nomis, ran him through the scenario. He instantly said it's the head gasket. So he was like, go to the parts store, get one of those combustion tester to see if the coolant system is mixed with combustion, like gas fumes. The easiest way to know if it's a head gasket situation. Despite the test and everything we did, it's still possible that something in the combustion chamber is pushing pressure through the cooling system. But anyways, we kind of ran out of time right now. He needs to head home. It's almost 10 o'clock and we're kind of just tapping out for today. It sucks that we can't get down to the bottom of what's going on with the CRV. It runs and drives great. It just pushes coolant and we don't want to continue driving it like that. So if it's something to do with the cylinder head, then shoot, you know, we're gonna have to figure something out as far as like right now the steps moving forward. If I take the cylinder head off, if I'm gonna do something like that, I may as well swap the B16. If I'm gonna drop the engine to do the clutch, we may as well put in the B16. I don't want to waste any more time. Say if I took off the cylinder head and all that and it does turn out to be a cracked sleeve, and mind you, I'm talking about doing all this without doing tests. I could do the test to verify so I don't waste time. I would just have to go buy the tools and things like that to, like, you know, obviously make these jobs easier. But granted, with what we have currently and what we don't have currently, we can only do so much. So we were kind of just sitting in the car talking with Nomis, kind of running through some scenario. Actually, we were inside the car testing the S300 that he bought for the setup, and it turned out the seller didn't tell us some shit we didn't know about the ECU. It only wants to turn on when it wants to turn on. It only wants to prime the fuel pump whenever it wants to prime the fuel pump. Talked to Nomis, he said common thing, it needs a refurb. So now the ECU that he bought is, it's not bad, it's not good for the price he got it for. It's good for the S300, but it's just something along with having to either refurb the ECU or providing a different ECU. At the end of the day, it's going to cost the same to refurb one and then to socket one for S300. So he's going to have to figure something out with the ECU. But while we were inside the car, we were just kind of running through the scenarios of what to do. So because I don't want him to take this car home, granted he can't drive, AAA is going to take a bajillion hours to come and pick up the car. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'd rather have him just leave the car here, because it's going to have to return back here to whether I do the head gasket or swap in the B16. So the car is going to stay here for tonight. And I do have a slot for the car right there. Granted, the van parks there, but the van parks here for my mom to access the car easier when she needs to take off in the morning. So I can park the CRV there. My brother can park over there. It's just going to be one extra car at the pad, which I'm not worried about. I've had more cars here before. But leave the car here. And we're kind of debating on the B16 swap after Race Wars, which means the car is going to sit here for about a week, because I got to prep this whole week, get ready for Race Wars, run the event, and then after the event, when everything chill and cool down, because I got nothing else to look forward to, then we can dive back into the CRV. The car is going to sit here, and the reason why, again, we're contemplating is because when we put the B16 in, and I've never personally done this, I don't know if the AC bracket stuff will fit the B16 for the B20. I don't know if the power steering bracket and stuff will fit from the B20 to the B16. So that's all the stuff we got to kind of figure out before we jump into this swap project. So as far as the CRV goes today, I don't know if we cooked the motor before we got it to the dyno, but sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. This thing has like 250,000-ish miles, somewhere around there. Yeah, it has quite a bit of miles, and we know this too also because I was messing with the crank puller, and every time I pull the timing belt up to like align it with the cam gear, the crank would spin so easily, like it's so free floating, and that's kind of like a worn down cylinder, I guess you can call it. But anyways, sometimes it's just the way the cookie crumbles, and that's just what we got to roll with. And I'm sure off camera I'll kind of diag this car a little bit more or whatever the case is, but the verdict is it's pushing coolant, whether it's a crackhead or the Chinese head gasket took a dump. Like at the end of the day, it's pushing coolant and it's sucking back in, so it's like creating a vacuum, something to do with the cooling system and the combustion chamber. So yeah, anyways, we're gonna wrap it up for tonight, guys. It's not more we can do. He got to take off. I need to go edit a video. That's just the story of my life right now. And I hope you guys enjoy a little bit of CRV stuff, and because this is happening, there might be more CRV stuff to follow here on the channel. For you CRV owners, you guys might enjoy the CRV stuff. For everybody else, I'm sorry guys, just bear with us. But if you guys enjoyed today's video a little bit, be sure to but anyways, if you guys enjoyed today's video a little bit, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to stick around for the Race 4 prep, the Race 4 event, it's going to be a killer one. If you guys are in the Bay Area, you guys better show up. It's going to be a kick-ass event. So if you guys want to stick around for some Race Wars content, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.